if you're just starting out with trading, you need to eliminate distractions. That means anything that can affect your senses, especially things that you can hear and things that you could see. But there's also ideas inside your brain that might be ruminating that are also distracting you. You got to quiet your mind. I was talking with a coaching client last week. Today's Monday, so it was Thursday. And they were like, well, what about this move? What about this move? What about gold? What about silver? What about this and that? And I said, you've got to kill the mice running around inside your head. When you don't know what you're doing and you're just starting, anything that moves $5 is going to look like an opportunity, right? You need to focus on one thing and get good at it. Now, I know I followed my own advice. If you remember the story, I went to Wall Street thinking that I could trade anything, anywhere, anyway, anyhow, because I was on Wall Street and I had immediate access to all the markets. I found out the hard way that that wasn't a wise decision. So my calculus there was completely wrong. There was too much going on. There was too much to follow. There were too many things to have to experiment with. And it was impossible for one person. Think about it. Think about if you were like the CEO of a company and you had 4 or 5 different divisions that you had to run. Very, very difficult to do because there's too much to keep track of. There's too many other people to be hold accountable. So when you're trying to trade, you need to think, what's the one thing that you can do? What's the one instrument that you can trade in one time frame and learn to own that one strategy, that one asset class, that one time frame, and just completely smoke it? That might take weeks or months for you to figure that out. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. It is what it is. It's really your personal journey when you think about it. So that's why when I think and I hear these things like, I'm going to make fun of a video that someone sent me, how I trade 2 hours a day. Maybe I'll do that one tomorrow. And I'm kind of making fun of somebody. But at the end of the day, your success, like if you want to actually increase your success, it's counter emotional. You have to let go of things, not add more possible ways to win. Right? You think because you see, well, the chip sector's getting hit, Nvidia's down, MicroStrategy's doing this and that, blah blah blah. If you don't have the right strategy that you own, that is an extension of your own personality, of who you are as a person, including all your psychology and your emotional intelligence, it's not a missed opportunity. It's just a data point. It's like saying it was 80 degrees on Sunday here in California. What does that mean? I don't think you can find any meaning in it. So I kind of shut down the coaching client and said, you're going to be chasing your tail ad infinitum if you don't stop and just put your mind at ease and focus on one thing. If you try to do too much by overthinking everything and thinking that all those big moves are somehow an opportunity for you, you're not going to excel at anything. Now, of course, to me, this is something that you can extrapolate and use for life. This is life advice. You're going to make more progress when you focus on one thing and get good at that, make that an asset for you. So now that strategy becomes your formula for Coke that you can follow any given day after day after day, that you can count on, you can rely on yourself, which is kind of the key here. Traders are leaders, they're decisive, they can rely on themselves. Everything external, whether it's telegrams or discords or social media channels, or you're looking for, articles and things on the ticker symbol so that you can boost your confidence, mentions on TV, that doesn't really help you. That's hours being spent in non-productive ways. When I don't remember, it was probably 3 to 6 months of getting started. I realized, because I'm good at calling myself out on this stuff, that I was all over the place. I was trying to trade currencies, options, stocks, and futures, because that was all now. It's like going to a restaurant for like one of these all-you-can-eat places, and there's a smorgasbord of everything, that you could possibly eat. When I go to baseball games, the tickets that I have allow me to go downstairs and eat at these restaurants for season ticket holders. And they have, steaks, they have fish, they have seafood, they have chafing dishes, they have, so much possible, combinations of food. You really have to just go and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and then I'm gonna be done. And then that's it. And so that's all you have to worry about. Focus on one thing, eliminate the distractions, and don't worry about what's happening in other asset classes or other trading styles that aren't part of who you are. Because really what you're trying to do here is avoid lots of opportunity cost, especially with respect to the amount of time that you're putting into learning your craft. Again, I'll go back to speaking with the coaching client, who has friends who are succeeding. Some of them are options traders, some of them are commodity traders. And all of that chatter in their brain makes them feel inadequate because they can't be decisive and just decide on one thing. And so you might feel like you're taking a step back, but all of that can kind of come in good time. In the meantime, as you're building out your tactics, your goal is to grow your net worth. And if you want to even achieve that goal, you might think, like, what's the goal beyond that? Put yourself 20, 30 years into the future and start thinking, well, maybe my goal at this point then is to create generational wealth. So why don't you start there? If you're even, say, 25 to, say, 55 years of age, especially if you're on the younger side of that age range, start thinking about you're creating wealth for your grandkids. Is your behavior today congruent with that path? Because the way the neural networks work in your mind is if you take that kind of FU goal and say, okay, here's FU prime and FU double prime, your brain is actually going to start to work to try to figure that all out, maybe even in your subconscious. And that'll even constrict your activities further, right? I laugh. That's why I kind of laugh, again, because I know where my head's at. But when I hear videos or watch or I see things or social media where, how to make 200 a day scalping, it doesn't move the needle enough for me to care about that. And I remember there was a time when that was a lot of money. But if I go back in time and say $200 a day, okay, well, I was doing that in 1982. So why would I want to, go back to that? So those headlines are meant to appeal to somebody who's broke because professionals also think in probabilities, right? Because if you looked at it for someone who was at any kind of financial size, the same kind of headline could be written like how to make 0.000002% a day while working only 15 minutes. That type of person could sit back and earn more on their passive income than have to worry about, making small nickels and dimes. So make up in your mind that you're going to eliminate those distractions. You can turn off the TV. You can make a rule to keep your browsers. Don't even open your browser, whether it's Chrome or Safari, whatever it is, don't open it up. Have your trading platform up and ready. Turn off your phone. Put your phone face down. Turn it on silence or airplane mode. And just make it between you and the market. Some of you might be already having panic attacks. Well, I got to see what so-and-so's doing. I got to go check out my Discord group and see if they approve the trade, like they're the branch manager. You only have so much mental energy in the day. So make sure that you're a good economist with that. Don't let that energy leak into things that don't matter because you're looking for emotional needs because you can't make a decision. You can't be decisive. Focus on one thing. You'll get much better results and much quicker results sooner. And to me, that's how you can really compound your money, is learn to get good at one thing and then grow from there. Then if you wanted to add a second asset class or a second trading strategy, maybe you wanted to go from, a 3-day swing trader to trying your hand in the shorter term. I always recommend learning to trade in longer time frames first. Trade it smaller because time can be a little bit more forgiving than the very randomness of 1-minute bars. And then keep going down. Go from 3 days to try to day trading within the day. Then if you're trading in the day, see about trading, maybe then you try scalping, right? But get good at one thing first that you can count on, so you can make money trading. That'll build your confidence. And if you've heard me speak before, getting confidence is key, because once you can take a person who has really average ability and average intelligence, that person will feel, like they can go conquer the world. And I wrote about all that in the Inner Voice of Trading. You can get the audiobook version for free. Links in the description. My goal here is to help you get to a point where you're successful, because once you're full of confidence, that confidence is going to snowball, and then it's going to snowball and compound in and of itself. So then what happens is you come to the market every day knowing that somehow, hook or crook, you're going to make money. And that's a great place to be, as opposed to come to the market where you're like, I don't know, what should I look at today? Should I start calling up charts and scrolling through them? And I have, indecision. I don't have a set plan. And so I don't advocate trying to be all things to all people. Just try to be one version of yourself to get going and focus on that. And then stay in your damn lane. Don't get distracted. If you like this episode, check out this one.